Let me share my screen. నా స్క్రీన్ కనిపిస్తుందండి?
మీ స్క్రీను స్టార్ట్ స్క్రీన్ షేరింగ్. ఓకే సార్, కనిపిస్తుంది సార్.
ఓకే. సో, మీకు బ్యాచ్ 10కి మనం ఆల్మోస్ట్ 50 అసైన్‌మెంట్స్ ఇచ్చాం.
అవును సార్.
50-56 యూ సబ్మిటెడ్ 56 వరకు ఇచ్చాం. సారీ 55-56 ఇచ్చాము. యూ సబ్మిటెడ్ ఓన్లీ 48. సో, ఇంకా కొన్ని పెండింగ్ ఉన్నాయి గదండీ!
ఇంకా 5 ఉన్నాయి సార్.
సో, ఎనీ రీజన్ ఇంకా వర్క్ చేస్తున్నారా? లేదా?
అవి చిన్న చిన్న మిస్టేక్స్ వచ్చి ఆగిపోయాయి సార్. అవి ఈ వీక్ లో కంప్లీట్ చేసేస్తున్నాను సార్.
ఓకే. సో, మోస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ద అసైన్‌మెంట్స్ యూ ఆర్ గెట్టింగ్ 5 రేటింగ్. దట్స్ గుడ్. ఆహ్, ఓకే. సో, మీకు ఓన్లీ ఆల్మోస్ట్ ఒక
5 ఉన్నాయి
3-4
సార్.
అసైన్‌మెంట్స్ అనేవి పెండింగ్ ఉన్నవి.
అవును సార్.
ఓకే. సో, మీకు ఎలా ఉంది కోర్స్ ఎలా అనిపించింది? కాన్ఫిడెన్స్?
బాగుంది సార్. కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ లో ఉంది. నేను ఎందుకు ఆ 5 సబ్మిట్ చేయలేదంటే మధ్యలో ఒక ఇంటర్వ్యూ అటెండ్ అయ్యాను సార్. దానికోసం ప్రిపేర్ అవుదాను ఆగాను అనమాట.
హ్మ్.
అటెండ్ అయ్యాను, దానివల్లే ఆ సబ్మిట్ చేయలేదు. బాగుంది సార్. నేను అటెండ్ అటెండ్ అయ్యాను సార్ దానికి.
సో, ఇంటర్వ్యూలో మనం కవర్ చేసిన టాపిక్స్ మ్యాచ్ అయ్యాయా?
అన్ని అవే వచ్చేసారు.
ఓకే. గుడ్. సో, డు యూ మేనేజ్ టు ఆన్సర్?
ఎస్ సార్, చేశాను. ఏంటంటే ఫస్ట్ టైం అవడం వల్ల కొంచెం కన్ఫ్యూజ్ అయ్యాను, కానీ మాక్సిమం చేశాను సార్. అది వాయిస్ వాయిస్ రికార్డ్ కూడా చేశాను అవి.
హ్మ్. నాకు పంపించినట్టున్నారు గదా! ఒకసారి. ఆహ్, సో, ఇట్స్ వెల్ అండ్ గుడ్. అండ్ మీకు కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ అనేది బిల్డ్ అయిందా? లైక్ మన కోడింగ్ రిలేటెడ్ టాస్క్‌లేనా అనిపించాయా? ఈజీగా ఉందా? ఏమైనా
ఎస్
డిఫికల్టీగా
సార్,
ఉందా?
కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ బిల్డ్ అయింది సార్. మళ్ళీ కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ బాగా బిల్డ్ అయింది సార్.
సో
అటెండ్ అవుతాను సార్.
సో, హాస్పిటల్ మేనేజ్‌మెంట్‌ది మీకు మళ్ళొకటి ఇచ్చున్నాను. మళ్ళీ ఒకసారి ఇంప్లిమెంట్ చేయండి. మీకప్పుడు ఇంకొంచెం కాన్ఫిడెన్స్ అనేది స్ట్రాంగ్ అవుతది.
ఓకే సార్.
ఓకే. ఆహ్, ఓకే. ఇట్స్ వన్ థింగ్. అండ్ సో, మీ రెజ్యూమే రివ్యూ చేద్దాం. బిఫోర్ దట్ లెట్స్ టేక్ ద మాక్ ఇంటర్వ్యూ. ఓకే. సో, ఆర్ యూ రెడీ విత్ ద మాక్ ఇంటర్వ్యూ?
ఎస్ సార్.
Yeah. Give me 1 minute. So, let's start with the self introduction first.
ఓకే సార్.
Yeah.
Hi there, I am Ravi Mukrala. I started my career in 2022 John at DCIT Labs as a Microsoft Dynamics CRM developer. At DCIT Labs, I worked on a couple of CRM projects, so I have good experience on configuration and also good knowledge on Power Apps. Mainly, I have my daily roles and responsibilities at DCIT Labs are my team lead and manager assign me some tasks, and I will work on the task and share my updates via Outlook at end of the day. Let me brief about my skill set. I have done a lot of client-side validations using business rules. If I got any requirement that I can't fulfill with business rules, I will done with JavaScript. And same also I have done so much automation and server-side operations with workflows. If I got any requirement that I can't fulfill with workflows, I have done with plugins. And I have created a lot of entities, created fields, done form design, and also prevented duplicate records using keys and duplicate detection rules, and so on. Mainly, I have worked on my project which was insurance management that is related to European client. I have implemented policy management, claims management, and customer interaction in the insurance management project. Yes, sir. This is my intro.
Okay. Good. So, you follow the structure and format what we have given. In the skill set summary, just highlight, just have experience with the plugins, workflows, SSRS reports, Canvas app, model driven apps. సో, అట్లా స్కిల్ సెట్లు అవన్నీ ఇంక్లూడ్ చేయండి. మీరు ఎస్ఎస్ఆర్ఎస్ రిపోర్ట్స్ కూడా మీకు తెలుసు కదా! అండ్
అవును.
కన్సోల్ జాబ్స్ కూడా తెలుసు. కన్సోల్ జాబ్స్ కూడా ఇంక్లూడ్ చేయండి. దట్ ఈస్ ద వన్ పాయింట్. ఓకే. And so let's start with the technical discussion. So, do you have experience with the plugins?
Yes, sir.
What is the importance of the plugin?
By using plugins, we can do. we can write complex business logic that we can't do with workflows. If we got any requirements to do server-side operations that we can't do with workflows, we can do with plugins.
Hmm. So do you know the pipeline stage in plugins?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can you just explain what is the pipeline stage?
Uh, pipeline stages pipeline stages start with pre-validation stage where our plugin will execute even before transaction started, and it will do pre-validations and also uh, do data checks. If we got if our plugin failed here, there won't be any roll up changes. If we see pre-operation plugins will done before record is going to be saved in database server. Here, the will data modifications will be done, and the final stage will be post operation, where our plugin executes after data saved in database server. Here we do operations on saved data.
Hmm.
Uh, yes, sir.
So you try to make your answers ichunanga for that. So you try to prepare from that format. So whatever you explain, that's good, but you try to improvise. Okay.
Okay, sir.
And so do you, may I know the any one of the plugin which you have implemented very recently, the scenario?
I got a scenario where I have to implement very complex plugin, like our customer uh, raise a claim, and we have to auto approval that claim without doing any manual intervention. For that, we need to meet some criteria, like customer need to pay all the previous premiums. He don't have to use our services recently. So we need to use multiple plugins in this type of scenarios. So in this case, I have used uh,
Hmm.
uh, సారీ సార్, నేను బాగా కాంప్లెక్స్ ప్లగిన్ చెప్తాను అనుకున్నాను. సింపుల్ ప్లగిన్ చెప్తాను.
Yeah,
ఐ
fine.
గాట్ ఐ గాట్ ఏ రిక్వైర్మెంట్ దట్ ఐ నీడ్ టు కాపీ పేరెంట్ రికార్డ్స్ ఫీల్డ్ డేటా ఇంటూ చైల్డ్ రికార్డ్స్ ఫీల్డ్ డేటా, అండ్ ఐ హ్యావ్ ఇంప్లిమెంటెడ్ విత్ ప్రీ post operation plugin. This is the plugin I have recently worked on.
Sorry, repeat again.
I got a requirement to copy parent records field values in child records field values. This is by using post operation plugin, and this is the plugin I have implemented previously.
Okay. So in which stage you have restarted this plugin? Pre-operation or post-operation?
I have done post operation.
Post-operation.
Yes.
Okay. And so why can't you register in the pre-operation? Why did you register in the post-operation? Is there any reason?
Because the record is saved, so it's belong to post operation, because data is already saved on database server. We will use post operation here,
Hmm.
because it is not belong to simply the requirement. If customer modified his data, the related records should be also updated with the data. So it is not belong to creating a new record. It belongs to updating already existing record. So it's related to morely uh, post operation. So that's why I choose post operation for this plugin.
Okay. And is there any possibility I have two plugins on the same event? Is there any possibility to transfer data between two plugins?
Yes, for that we have to use shared variables.
Okay. So do you know about the difference between synchronous and asynchronous plugin?
um, Synchronous plugin and asynchronous plugin. Synchronous
Yeah.
Asynchronous plugin basically works in background. It's used for updating so many fields, whereas synchronous plugin will execute immediately, and it should be like validating, uh, validation must be done uh, in real time. Uh, Synchronous should happen instantly, whereas asynchronous happen can take in time. Yes, sir.
Okay. Uh, so asynchronous taking time means what does it mean?
If we have so many records that we need to do mass updating records, we here uh, user user don't need to wait. So for that, we will use asynchronous plugin here.
Hmm.
Whereas in synchronous, user must wait before operation is going to be completed.
Okay. So in the plugin, I have a requirement. So like I'm creation of the one of the entity record, I'm updating some child records using plugin. Okay. Are you getting me?
Yes, sir.
And uh, so let's say I'm updating the record by using one of the user. That user doesn't have access uh, update rights on the child records. Whatever records I'm using it in the plugin. Let it be more specific. I have two entities, account and contact. On creation of the account, sorry, on update of the account, I'm updating all contact records associated with the current account.
Okay.
And so I'm logged in as a user A. User A doesn't have access to update the contacts records,
Okay.
and somehow it is failing with due to permission issue. So how do we overcome this kind of issue?
For this, we should make plugin run as system instead of run as user. Plugin execute as system instead of plugin execute as. Uh,
We have to run plugin as mode, right?
yes, yes, sir.
Yeah, so that is good. And uh, so what is the importance of the append to security privileges?
We will generally, if we got parent parent entity, we will use append to for parent entity, which means it makes to attach records to that entity. If we select, if it is child entity, we should choose append, which give permission to attach other records to this entity.
Okay.
For parent, we give append to. For child records, we give append. It's basically allow record. It makes attach records to another entity.
So basically you have to highlight like append to privileges are helpful to provide the relationship between parent and child.
Yes.
That is
Okay.
how we have to highlight. And what are all the access levels we have in CRM and security roles?
We have user access, user or team access, business unit access, parent and child business unit access, and organization access level. These are the levels we have in privileges, sir.
What is the importance of each one of them?
Uh, let's say if uh, let's say it, our workflow has to do operations on the records owned by specific user or team. We should select user or team. Otherwise, if we wanna make our workflow work on the records that has contained by a business unit users, we should select business unit. If there are parent business units and there is a parent parent user controlling all this child want to see all these child records, we should select parent and child business unit. If we want to implement on all records, we have to choose organization level.
Okay.
Simply by selecting these privilege access levels, it will affect on that. records owned as per the access level. It
Hmm.
shows effects on those records only.
So I have a scenario-based question here. Okay.
Okay.
And so I have a business rule. I'm setting the default value on record creation.
Okay.
Okay. And so I'm setting some default value. So I'm creating records using the main form. So it's working fine. But if I use the quick create form, will that business rule work?
Uh, sir, basically, you are saying that in an entity there are two forms, one was main form and another was quick create form. You are saying that if we implement business rule on main form, will it work for create view? That is your scenario.
Correct. If I create records with the quick create form,
Here
will
we
that
have to choose. Here, if we choose scope as all forms, it will work, sir.
will it work? Are you sure?
But we have to change scope as all forms instead of specific form. If it is
Yeah.
specific form, it don't work. If we set it as all forms, it may work.
If you set it right. So you try to validate the scenario. Will it work or not after the session?
Okay, sir.
Okay. Mm, okay. That's a good. And one more thing. Like, do you have experience with do you know business rule scope, by the way?
Yes, sir.
What is the scope of the business rule?
Uh, let's say we have implemented some business rules. If we select scope as all forms, that business rules will work on all forms in the entity. If we select specific form, business rules only do client-side validation on that only selected specific form only. If we select, if we wanna do both client-side validations and also it involves some server-side operations like using import or using some APIs, then we need to choose scope as entity. Then only it will work further both operations.
Okay, good. Do you know about the relationships in CRM?
Yeah, you are asking me about entity relationship, yes, sir.
Yeah. What are the relationship types and behaviors do we have?
Generally, there are three types of entity relationships: one to many, many to one, many to many.
Mm,
And if we take relationship behavior, there are four types of relationship entity relationship behaviors. They are parential, parential relationship, referential delete restriction relationship, uh, configurable cascading relationship. And if I explain that in parential entity relationship, whatever the things we are doing on parent record, it's also affect child records like operation like deleting or assigning. In referential relationship, whatever the operations we do on parential records, it will don't show any effect on child records. In parential referential restriction relationship, whatever the things we do on parential don't affect on child records, but if you wanna delete parent records, you must delete child records first. In configurable cascading relationship, we can configure like cascade all, cascade none, cascade active, or cascade user owned. Which means cascade all means we can change all the child records, or cascade active means we can change the records which are active. Cascade none means we don't change any child records. Cascade user own means only specific user owned records will be affected.
mm, can we use the calculated fields in the business rules?
No, sir. It is the limitation of calculated fees that we can't use.
Can't use in the business rules, is it?
Yes, sir. We can't use.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
So you try to validate, you note down and validate after the session. Okay.
Okay.
You understood the question, right?
Um,
Okay, you try to validate, and also the quick create form as well. You note down that one as well. You
Okay.
validate. Okay.
Okay.
So I do have a requirement scenario based question. I have one of the field and the account entity. Okay. The
Okay.
field is enabled for the field security. It is accessible only for the manager. It's not accessible for the salesperson.
O-
So I'm trying to read that field data inside plugin by using get set get syntax. I'm trying to read. So when I'm trying to my context is calling user context, my plugin. So I'm performing when I'm trying to perform the operation by using salesperson. So what will happen inside the plugin?
Mm, I think it may fail because of privileges clashes. So in that scenario, what we have to do is run our plugin as contested admin instead of contest of user. Then it may work, sir.
Will it fail? Is it?
Yeah, will
If you
it
get
fail?
the error?
It will face, sir, due to privileges clashes.
No, you check this one as well practically.
Okay, sir.
After the you understood the question, right?
Uh, s- uh, you're asking me about whether it will be worked with plugin or not.
Correct.
Uh,
So will it work with the plugin or not? You have to validate. So
if
you have. So what my requirement is, let's say, uh, we have implemented a plugin. The plugin is like we are giving the discount privileged rights to only for the manager,
okay,
and others cannot read the discount or any one of the field sensitive field can be readable by only for the managers, not for the salespersons. But what will happen inside plugin if you are trying to read that value inside that plugin? If you run plugin as a manager, what will happen? If you run plugin as a salesperson, what will happen? You have to
we run
validate.
plugin as salesperson, it will show error. If we run plugin as manager, it will don't show that error, sir. If we run plugin as admin, it will also don't show error.
So we are running plugin as a calling user context. Calling user context means whoever is trying to access the system, that
Uh,
context it will use it.
in the
So
current
if the
calling it.
salesperson performing the activity, what will happen? If manager performing the activity, what will happen? You observe practically.
Okay.
Okay. And I have another requirement. I'm created a business rule. Okay. So what I'm doing, I have gender field. I have three fields: gender, daughter of, son of. Based on the selected gender, I'm showing the either daughter of or son of. If I select gender as male, I'm showing the son of. If I select gender as female, I'm showing the daughter of. And other field, I'm setting visibility as false. I'm hiding that other field.
Okay.
Is requirement clear so far?
Yes, sir. Clear.
So I implemented business rule, but what happened? Daughter of field is I have daughter of field in the entity, but I did not add it on the form. On the form, it is not available. So what will happen in the business rule?
If we only when we add fields on form, it will show in work business rules designer on right panel. We can see.
Other fields also we can see. It's not mandatory. It's not mandatory to be on the form for the business rule creation. Okay, even though if you're not available on the form, we can use it in the business rule.
Okay. The question is, we can see that field or not? Yes, sir.
What will happen with the business rule? So I implemented business rule to implement to achieve this requirement, but the field is doesn't exist on the form. What will happen? Business rule will that fail or what is the result?
I think it don't fail, sir.
It will fail, is it?
Uh,
So
sorry, sir. I didn't come up with that situation before.
So you try to validate practically.
Okay.
Did you understand the question, by the way?
I understand the question, sir.
So you try to validate practically and see.
Okay, sir.
Okay. And one more requirement. I do have on the same requirement, I have implemented the JavaScript. I also implemented the business rule.
Okay.
So which one will trigger first?
JavaScript. Actually, JavaScript will trigger first, sir, because even workflow also at the back end, workflow will be converted into JavaScript and then run by the CRM engine. So JavaScript is already in JS, so JavaScript will trigger first.
Hmm. So what are all the events we can add in the JavaScript?
We can add these events are on form load, on form save, or on field change.
Hmm.
Form load, form save, field change are the events that we can trigger.
So can you just give me the implementation steps to add the events?
Yeah. First, we need to write our code. We need to write our JS code and upload that code in web resources. And then we need to go that form in our CRM. We need to go that entity, and then we need to go that form. On form, we can in ribbon we can see uh, form properties. We have to click on form properties. We have to add whatever the code we have uploaded in web resources, and then on below we have to select uh, on field share or as per the requirement on field all forms here on field change. We have to select that, and we have to give our function name of JavaScript in that cell. Then automatically our JS will be worked.
So let's say my JavaScript is not working, and how do we troubleshoot
Uh,
JavaScript? How do we debug?
by using three ways, we can debug our JS code. And first one is we must use for error handling of our JS code, we should use try and catch to see the exceptions. We should wrap our code inside try and catch block. And another way is we should use debugger. We should add our debugger keyword in code uh, in VS Code or in our web page. We have to right click. We have to go to developer tools in console. Uh, in developer tools, we can see our debugger. And another way is we have to use trace logs.
Hmm. Okay. And so how do we debug a plugin in case of plugin?
Uh, for plugin also, we can use I plugin trace services. Using the service, we can use trace logs. And we to see this, we should go to our advanced set, select plugin trace logs, and when we run it our or when we done our operation on CRM in plugin trace logs, we can see. And another way is using profilers, plugin profiler. By using plugin profiler in VS Code, we can use debugger to debug our plugins. There are two ways by using by using profiler, and another one by using trace logs of iPlugin service.
Okay. So how do we manage the errors in the Power Automate flow?
Uh, to do that, we can use the scope. Of what we have to do is create two scope blocks and rename it as a try try logic and catch error. In try logic we can put our logical blocks if any, and in catch error we can put we can add action add. If execution failed, send an outlook email to administrator. By this we can uh, handle errors in Power Automate, sir. Simply, we should use scope try automate.
What is the connection reference component?
We will use this connection reference. Okay, okay. We will use connection reference concept in uh, catch error, of which is Outlook. Simply, connection error allow us to To use external applications or third-party rules, we will for for managing credentials, we will use this.
Hmm. So can we transfer the connection difference from one system to another system via solution?
So you're asking me that, sir, can I listen your answer once again?
So can we transfer the connection difference? Generally, there is a connection difference component.
Okay.
So can we transfer? How do we transfer connection difference component from one system to another system? Generally, we have dev, UAT, and production, right? So how do we transfer?
Mm, by using solutions, I mean, uh, actually by using solution by exporting unmanaged solution, we can get this connection difference from one environment to another environment. Simply
Mm.
deploy UAT deployment, and then yes, UAT deployment.
Mm.
Sorry, sir, I don't have idea if we export our solution, we can get connection reference or not. I don't have idea on that.
Okay, just note down and explore. And what is the security model in CRM?
Security,
Model in CRM,
security,
like
security.
security roles and
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, sir, I will tell you that.
field level security and
Generally, we will manage access of records in different scenario, like we to share access for our form, to share access for our entity, or to share access for our record. If we want to share a record for our entity, we can use security roles. If we want to share privileges for um, our fields, we will use field security profile. If we want to share our records with another members, for that we will use team access services.
mm,
In security role is a combination of privileges levels and privileges set of privileges. Privileges levels can be user or team, organization, business unit, parent, or customer, parent and child business unit. And privileges includes like mm, read, edit, uh, delete, assign, share. These are all parts of security role. And in business units, what we will do is we can only add one. We cannot assign more business same user for multiple business units.
mm,
Uh, if we wanna add different business units team members for collaboration work, we will use team here. We will team here. And if we wanna give temporary access for our records for specific requirement, we will use team access here.
team access template, right?
Yes, sir.
Access team templates.
Access team.
So how do we create access team templates? Can I have the steps?
For creating access teams, first we should go to that specific entity. That specific entity, we have to enable team access. We should enable team access first, and then we can go to that entity. We can go to that form. We have to add a section. In that section, we can add subgrid. In that subgrid, we will give a team access. Team access, and we create a team access in security module.
Mm,
By this, we can create team access.
okay. And yeah, so I wanted to process the more than 50,000 records, 20,000 records in the Power Automate flow. Is it possible?
Yes, for that we should configure our threshold limits of Power Automate, or use a specific condition for that. I'm not getting that condition.
So how many types of Power Automate flows do we have in CRM?
We have three types of Power Automates, which are automate, instant, scheduled. Uh, for schedule, we can specify our time. In that time, Power Automate will be executed. Like it will be useful for scheduled reminder to send scheduled reminders or to do scheduled data importing or exporting. If we take instant, generally for this instant we will use whenever we need to work on web API methods. Uh, and for automated, simply whenever we run that plugin, it will whenever we run the Power Automate, it will work itself in automate. These are the differences.
Hmm. Okay. Mm. Uh, so how do we connect to the CRM by using C# code?
How do we connect CRM by using C sharp code?
Yeah.
Are,
Have you,
are these related to plugins, sir?
no, have you ever worked on the console jobs?
Console job.
Console batch jobs.
I'm not getting that.
So sending birthday emails, we have implemented one console job in our last class. Do you remember? Mm, we have to create a client ID and client secret in Azure Active Directory.
I think I'm maybe that one is pending for me, sir.
Mhm. Okay, okay. Mm, okay, Ravi. So that's well and good. So you need to improve few things.
Okay.
So you try to improve. Okay. Uh,
మీరు ఇచ్చిన పీడిఎఫ్లన్నీ బాగా రిఫర్ చేసుకుంటే మాక్సిమం 70 to 80% మేనేజ్ చేయగలను కదా సార్ నేను ఏ ఇంటర్వ్యూను.
yes, yes. You try to go through again, and you try to redo the hospital application again to build the confidence and to manage the scenario-based questions. Okay.
ఓకే.